I'm Diana Garber with Intuitive Concepts, here meeting with Kevin Wilkinson of
Dill's Greenhouse,
Yep. Which is up the street. And we are at a client site. The house is 1800s, and you probably hear construction going on in the background because there was just an addition put on. So Kevin and I are going to be talking about the landscaping because really Feng Shui starts with the land, and then we bring it in. However, here we started inside, and now we want to carry it outside, so that what we've done in regards to Feng Shui on the inside isn't undermined by the landscaping that needs to take place now. Mm-hmm. So the client did send me these pictures, and when I take a look at the overall plat, which I got off of the auditor's site, here's how the plat flushes out because it turns into a rectangle. So that lets me know that here's the center, but the house and all the place that we're going to be doing landscaping falls into the north.
Right.
North is known as the water direction, and so the colors are blue and black. But because metal supports water, we also have whites and any metallics, which when I talked with you, one of my favorite plants from the old days is what we used to call rabbit ears.
Okay.
You know,
yeah.
it's kind of a silvery white, hairy kind of plant. They're just so cute. Now, the client, and I apologize for the construction going on in the background, the client is very interested in grasses, really likes that concept, so this really lit her up. She liked it. Now, are there grasses that would be white or something a little silvery?
Oh, definitely, yes. There's several different varieties we can choose from, and very nice color contrast as well. There's a lot of neat plants I think we could use that would match in the color schemes that we need to.
Great. Now, do you have any questions? I sent you a landscape table, and I know it's one thing to. I'm much better somebody explaining something to me. I'm not the kind of person to open up a book. I want to take a class or have interaction kind of thing.
I'm kind of the same way. I like to. That's why I brought some of the pictures so we could kind of visualize some of the areas that we're talking about. There's some that said I believe that they need the wavy lines is one of them, and so I didn't know if that could be as far as the bed shapes, if those would be considered the wavy lines, or what is actually considered part of that.
Many aspects. So wavy lines are because of water, and we're dealing with the north part of the plat. It can be in elevations of plants that it gives it some character. It can be in the shape of one of the beds, which really you've done that. I mean, you've got a wavy line going on here. And then the circle that's in the front driveway, the tree there, as you know, was taken out. So the client is asking if we would address that. So the number for the north is the number 1.
Right.
So a lot of people think, well, that means a lone tree. But actually, because that circle, which circle is a metal element, and metal supports water in the north, so that circle's perfect. But if we approach the landscaping out there so that as you're coming up the driveway, you experience it as one unit. We can have multiple plants, we can have multiple trees, we can have that. But when it's in full bloom, we experience it as one collage. There's our number 1.
Okay. That's great. I like that concept. I don't have a picture of the driveway. Originally, I did have just one single tree in that spot with some contrasting plants on the bottom part, but there are different aspects that we can work with as well, as far as depending on the number of trees, the size. Would flowering be the kind of like a more of a flowering tree be better to have in that spot, or does it matter as far as the?
I would like to see a flowering tree. I guess what came to mind was maybe a magnolia, something that would have fragrance, so that when it is in bloom, when people approach the house, they get that whiff of, welcome essence. And but you know plants better than I do here for our zone, and you probably know as well that we used to be a zone 5, but now we're migrating to a zone 6, and they're saying eventually zone 7.
Yeah.
So, anticipating that happening over our client's lifetime.
Sure. Yeah.
But, I like your concept in regards to the tree, But even with the tree, if you have grasses coming out of the bottom, when you look at that, you experience it as one unit. Another way to incorporate the number 1 is we could have 10 of something,
Okay.
1 plus 0.
Okay.
Or we could have, pick any number that totals up to, ultimately went down to a single digit to a 1.
Okay.
So 28, 2 plus 8 is 10,
Okay.
1 plus 0 is 1.
Okay.
So there's really a lot of flexibility in
Sure.
this, and people think, oh, well, I have to use the number 6, and that means, they think of it as limiting. I think it's just invigorating.
Yeah. Now, as far as I noticed they said it's shapes as well. Do the shapes of the plants I think they said round and
Round and oval represent metal, and metal supports the water.
Okay.
And then, like you said, the shape of the water is the wavy, so we have lots of flexibility there.
Okay.
Now, it's not to say we can't use other things. It's just the overall theme. We
Right.
want it to be metal and
Okay.
water. So we can have, little splashes of color here and there, but we want the total experience to be that of metal and water.
Okay. Yeah. There's, I guess there's quite a few different ways we could go about this. So now, what I was going to think too, when you say water, can there be any kind of water features involved with that, like any fountains, say, or is that something that?
In general, yes. I wouldn't recommend that here
Okay.
because of the huge pond out front
Right.
and the pool in back.
Yeah.
So they have plenty of water. But if there was an absence of that, then yes, absolutely, we could look at ponds or fountains.
No, same thing with as far as involved in the. Sorry.
It's okay.
As far as that goes in the process itself, like metal, let's say sculptures or anything like that, also being involved.
Absolutely.
Okay.
The client and I were looking for some metal for outside, and we found a wind-driven design, kind of Western theme, since they like the Western theme. But metal sculptures, metal anything would be good.
Mm-hmm. Very neat. Yeah, I guess the other thing would be to kind of get something drawn back up and proceed again with some of the different colors and aspects of the design, and make sure it complies with all the different varieties of plant material
And I can be as involved or uninvolved as you want.
Okay.
You're the expert at what you do. I don't need to be involved in every step of the process unless that's something that you want, just for a comfort level for us. If you just want to do what you do, and then right before, a decision is made, I could take a look at it. It's up to you.
Yeah, that would be great. At least being able to forward you some of the pictures and things that I've been working on and see if it kind of complies, and as well as for the customer, if that's what they would like to see, if that matches what the interior, and bring that to the outside. I think that'd be great.
They're not here, they're at their other home.
Mm-hmm.
It's very important for them to follow the Feng Shui, because when we originally did this house, he was undergoing some very, very severe
Mm-hmm.
health issues, and literally within 3 months of completing all the remedies, his most challenging health issue was gone.
Mm-hmm.
So they've had me do this house, they've had me do their other homes, and even their children's homes, because everybody sees results.
Mm-hmm. Well, very neat.
Yeah. Well, thank you for stopping by.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Not a problem. Appreciate
And
it.
thanks for having us.